Stranger Things, season 5, first 5 minutes, the metaphysical breakdown, of Stranger Things. What's the deal, family? What's the deal? Dreamwise here for another one. Yes, I just seen the trailer and I wanted to rewatch it with y'all so we can dive deep into the fold of what's going on with the Stranger Things. Now, y'all know I decoded Stranger Things in the past. And I understand it or see it from a certain lens that's speaking of cult or metaphysical understanding of the mind. And I just want to share the first 5 minutes because the trailer was absolutely fire and it was everything that I felt it was gonna be um, in the for this Stranger Things season 5. But what I got from it is you know the suppression or the repression of emotions still coming into the fold. So we'll talk about it. We'll dive deep. First, I wanted to show y'all, and instead of me just making a video, I said, you know what? Let me just go live on it and just chop it up with the family. So if you're catching this, hey, lucky you. All right. So first thing first, November 12th, 1983. November 12th, 1983 is the day Will got out of the Upside Down. Now, if you don't know, Will is a character that was taken into the Upside Down in season 1, and he's basically the character that you see, the more androgynous being, if you will, right? If we're putting it in the terms of metaphysical breakdown, not to the humans, just to the gods. So, uh, um, November 6th is actually the day he went in, right? November 6th, 1983 is when he went into the Upside Down. And it was interesting because essentially that was 6 days, 6 days into the Upside Down. Now, November 6th is an interesting day. Yesterday was November 6th, and November 6th had a lot of strange, how would we say, you know, uh, uh, upside down energies, if you will. Yesterday, November 6th, King Von was his transition date. Let's see if we could actually pull that up. Let me see. King Von death date. November 6th, and that was 5 years ago, season 5 of Stranger Things, right? So that was interesting, right? And we know King Von as a symbol of, how would you say, um, you know, the death realm, or somebody that's this murderous person, if you feel me. I did a breakdown on him before and just giving y'all the understanding, like some people come down to be this egregor spirit, this renegade spirit that's, you know, has death in his eye, if you will. And essentially, that's not a coincidence. We got to look at all of that. So also what happened on November 6th when Will went in, right, was Antonio Brown. Hey, I'm telling y'all, we're living in a spiritual simulation. I can't make it up. Now it says Antonio Brown extradited to United States to face attempted murder charge. Attempted murder charge. So literally November 6th, when Will went in on season 1, King Von transitioned, right? The death god. Then Antonio Brown gets extradited or charged with murder and picked up by the feds essentially with murder. And then also, rising in power to the God. We just seen it. I can't make it up. The Cowboys God. What was his name? Neeland Cowboys. You feel me? Rising in power to the God. Cowboys, the defensive end, Marshawn Neeland, dead at 24. And we know 24 is the 6. And we've been talking about this 6 like crazy. And then also his number is what? 84. So his number 80, and then he just scored a touchdown. Crazy. I was just watching that game. So, you know what I'm saying? The truth is stranger than fiction, family. 84 is what? 13, right? Or 94. His number is 94. 94 is 13. Crazy, right? And 24 is the 6. Now, getting back to Stranger Things and Will, right? Will, we just talked about Will. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can pull up my slides from the last breakdown that we did. Now, remember when we talked about Will, right? Because we was talking about essentially the Will dude, this Will Smith dude, right? Winning six World Series, 6 days into the Upside Down, with Will, the character in Stranger Things. Now let's look at it. Let's check it out. Watch how Dream works. Remember what I said. Will is Kether, right? Kether. It says Kether is the first of the 10 Sephras in the Kabbalistic tree of life, symbolizing the divine wheel and the initial impulse towards creation. So will is a big thing. When we think about will, we're thinking about willpower, right? Will is a big understanding of who you are down here in this matrix. Where there's a will, there's a way. So you got to understand that will is part of a spiritual lens, if you will, a more, how would we say, divine energy that shouldn't be slept on, right? A lot of times, people are trying to figure out this thing with the go with the flow. We're not talking about forcing it, but we're talking about having the will to win, the will to succeed down here in this earth realm. You feel me? And that's very, very important in the grand scheme of things. Okay, let me get back to the video real quick. Hold on, y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it. Okay, let's watch it together and then we'll break it down. Stranger Things, season 5s, they're gonna have some copyright things. So shit, this video might not stay up, but hey, since you made it here, you are one of the lucky ones to see it. You feel me? Let's get to it. Watch this. So right there, right off the bat, he's saying, "Should I stay or should I go?" Will is saying, "Should I stay or should I go?" This is the younger Will, as a child too. Should I stay or should I go now? Right. So you know what that is. You think when you think about that, you think about what? The crossroads. You feel me? Crossroads. So crossroads is a thing of the devil and Jesus on your shoulder, or good versus bad kind of idea, right? But as we know in the occult metaphysical understanding, right, like and alike are the same. As above, so below, as within, so without. So just understanding the upside down realm is important for you to become holistic, holistic, understanding yourself, right? So your shadow self or the dark side is not evil. It's a part of you that you have to grow into to learn something about yourself so you can become enlightened, the enlightened one. Here we go. Let's keep it rolling. See, you said it right there. If I go, it'll be trouble. If I stay, it'll be double. So shit, he's like, shit, I'm gonna have to do it anyway. So now what you're gonna see a lot of, right? Especially talking about the aspect of Will Smith and Will, right? The will is the way. We just seen this Will Smith energy showing up in real life. Uh, with if you're going to win down here, right, or win in the grand scheme of things of your soul travel, you're gonna have to will yourself to win, right? Because essentially you're going to have to deal with the suppressed energies that's having havoc in your being, right? um these suppressed emotions or energies are like casting spells on yourself. You feel me? and these spells live in your body. These energies or these demigods, demigorgons live in your body, right? And they show up in the form of anxiety, fear, um, uh, not no assertiveness, right? Not expressing your truth. You feel me? And what you don't express becomes the spirit that you possess. So you want to understand that to the core. Like, this is all about expression down here in this matrix, right? Being your true, authentic self. Freedom reigns supreme right here in your head, in your crown chakra. You feel me? That's the whole point of the tree of life. And I'm gonna get to these trees: tree of life, tree of knowledge, or tree of death, right? Because essentially we gotta get past the spookism. You feel me? A lot of times the spookism is fucking us up. And we gotta understand that that's just a part of keeping you away from your true internal self, right? Um, you're in the upside down right now, and you got to understand that, because essentially, if you're not in this bliss state in the mind, then essentially you're holding back your true self, your higher self. You feel me? So then you stay in the lower extremities of yourself, the human. And we want to understand that to the core. Okay, let's get it all. Let's keep it rolling. Very good trailer first. Should I stay or should I go? So that's young Will. He's in the upside down, right? And you know, the upside down is essentially the subconscious mind. You feel me? So remember, the subconscious mind is not a bad thing. The death or the death is not a bad thing. It's transformation. You can't illuminate until you kill something off. You got to kill off the old self to become a new, right? Even down here in this matrix, you're living 1,000 lives by going through 1,000 deaths. So you got to understand that to the core. You're always becoming something new based off of you know, you transforming or having an aha moment or a new aha experience. Okay, that's a demigorgon. That nigga Will had that shotgun cocked and ready, baby. Ha! Chaos in the blood. What? He was ready. He was like, hey, I'm taking this thing out. Now remember, the demigorgon is essentially repressed emotions, or you know, the aspects of you. Um, just think of them like demons, right? But demons are basically just parts of you that you repress. So these are you. You feel me? Because once you turn around and punch a bully in the face, essentially what happens is you see that, oh wait, the whole time it was just me. You feel me? Hold on, let me get my sound effects on, baby. What's up? Yeah, damn, the whole time it was me. What's up, y'all? My bad. I didn't see y'all in here. Okay, y'all in here. What's good, family? What's good? You know, I woke up and said, let me decode it without making a scripted video or some kind of video recording. Let me just do it live so the family can really get in on the breakdown with me. You feel me? So let's keep it going. Let's get it on. That shoddy body. You feel me? He was ready. So think about your nightmares, right? When you deal with nightmares and stuff like that, essentially, sometimes you're running, right? And remember, your dreams are just your subconscious mind showing you things about yourself, aspects about yourself that you got to deal with, or because that's going to be the transformation. You feel me? So in the darkness is good. Darkness is the aspects of you that you got to heal or go through, right? I'm gonna go deeper into the fold. So, you know, a lot of times what happens is we try to hide or run away from our shadow or them aspects that's going to transform us. In order for you to live another life, that life that you want to, you're going to have to deal with them demons. You're going to have to face the man in the mirror and fall into the space of, understanding that this place is not real and it's just a test or a learning ground for you to transform into something new. So that's very, very important, family. I can't make it up. It's very important for you to get into the space of facing your fears. You feel me? Let's get it. So even right there, he's running, and then, oh, what does he run to? A tree, right? So you can't vibrate high until you deal with these lower frequencies, these lower emotions. So when you're running in your dreams, remember, you're just running from yourself. I had to learn that the hard way because I used to run in my dreams so many times. Is based off of the dealings of the third dimension that I was going through in, the hood and the aspect of, some of that thug life, if you will, being so fearful of somebody trying to kill you or somebody trying to rob you and stuff of that nature, right? So now, essentially, I was running, but until I turned around and faced the bully in the face, I said, oh, wait, I'm just making up the fear in my mind. Message. The mind flares. So these mind flares is essentially that, right? You're running from yourself based off of low vibrational thoughts that you made up. So we got to understand that to the core, that there's not nothing like, people always like, oh, this entity is attached to you, or this entity has come down to take over you. No, the entity is you. All of this stuff is you. And in it being you, you're going to have to wake up to the realizations that essentially, if you don't get over it, you're going to just keep on running down here in this matrix. And that's an important thing. So you might be running from aspects of this, just small aspects, things like at your job, you don't stand up for yourself, right? At your job, you don't face that coworker that keeps on making inappropriate jokes or whatever. You feel me? Things like that. Just subtle energies that you got to see that can actually shift your world into a new, right? Or you didn't ask for that raise, or you didn't go for that opportunity, right? You always second guessing yourself, or you believe you're not worthy enough. Nah, I couldn't do that. It wouldn't be me, right? Those are entities in your being that's suppressing you from having the adventure you're supposed to have down here in this matrix. Sorry about you. So I'm just telling you what it is. You're going to have to get over that aspect of feeling like this place is real and start fighting back with the will to win. Don't worry, we're going to get there. Watch how dream works. So he's climbing the tree. What y'all want me to say? It's just so obvious. So whatever, cool, right? He's climbing the tree. We know it's the tree. He got two trees because he's about. Well, let me just keep it rolling. It climbs all the way up to the tree. That could be looked at. This could be looked at as the tree of life. You feel me? He's climbing all the way up to this tree of life. He's at the top of the tree, looking down. He sees his peers, which is Vecna. He's like, okay, I gotta get to the other side. falls down to the tree of death or the tree of knowledge. So now let's look at it, shall we? Tree of death. So remember in the Kabbalah, right? The tree of life and the tree of death. So Adam and Eve, right? So Adam ate from the tree of knowledge, which is the tree of death. You feel me? And then now they don't have this, what you'll say, eternal life. They have an aspect of death, but that's actually transformation, because Kundalini, or you're the snake rising up from that tree, is the aspect of you falling to earth. You feel me? You fall into earth and becoming human. So that's what this whole thing is about. And you're supposed to learn something new down here in the aspect of going through what they call these sephiras, or these energies. You feel me? That's all it essentially is. And we can look at it in the aspect of okay, there you go. We can look at it in the aspect of, let's look at it from a simpler spiritual system, the chakra system, right? So obviously the chakra system, if you look at the tree of life, you can think of the chakras as you consciously rising up into your enlightenment. So you know who you are, essentially, in the aspects of you understanding your conscious energies that you got to deal with. You feel me? In the aspect of even the glamour, right? Now, the tree of death is your subconscious aspects. You feel me? Especially when you go through the Dath, which is death, and you go through the aspects of these hidden sephiras. That's basically energy centers in your body that's suppressed or repressed based off of, you not understanding that you're going to transition and go to another level anyway. So, it's important to have, it's important really just to be in your work, because that's the only way you have that enlightened state or that enlightened mind, right? So in the enlightened mind, there's no other way around it. You're going to have to do the work to have these aha moments, or have these ultimate understandings of your death realm, which is life. You feel me? That's the ultimate life is death. So hey, and the truth is stranger than fiction. I just showed you King Von transition November 6th. Will from Stranger Things, first day in was November 6th. 6 days in, 6, and he gets out the 7th day. That's the 7th chakra. You feel me? 6 can be looked at as the pineal gland, the first eye, the third eye chakra, right? You climbing up the tree, boom, to the third eye. Then he gets out and becomes back to the human, right? But he has to go through an important aspect in season 5, which I think they're going to do, which is give you the understanding of why Will is an androgynous being.
Message.
Now, this androgynous being is past the astral realms. You feel me? So essentially, he's expressing this androgynous state in the form of, how would you say, the soul, right? So now, essentially, what Will is doing is giving you the understanding from jumping from that one tree to the other tree, and then you see in season 4 he became more feminine, whatever, and da 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 da, right? Ooh, but that's just a symbol for an androgynous state, for you getting out of the astral realms. You feel me? And falling into the soul realm. So you getting out of, because when you transition, your spirit is going to go to the 4th dimension, which is still part of this illusionary construct. So now there's people that live in the 4th dimension, the astral realms, for thousands of years, just because they know how to manipulate that particular space, right? In the subconscious mind realm, which is the astral realms. So now all of a sudden, when you transition out of that, or you transcend out of that, that's when you become a soul being. And now you're back in your androgynous state, which is not no masculine or feminine energies, right? It's just you as a soul being. So we can't even fathom the aspect because we we split up into two different poles, masculine and feminine, dark and light, right? So now just grasping that transformation from the soul level is something that's beyond the great beyond your mind, your human mind. Cause I know I'm a straight guy, nigga. I'm a masculine to the core and shit, you know. That's what it is. And even in the astral realm, I'm be masculine, like taking all of that. You feel me? Yeah, damn. All right, let's keep it rolling. Um, Shout out to the family. I see y'all. Y'all up early with me, huh? We getting it in, man. You know how this thing goes. All right, let's get back to the Stranger Things trailer. Boy, y'all are in for a treat. Cause they not gonna let me keep this up. Me showing this trailer. You know, he falls all the way down back to earth. Feel me? Let me Gorgon again. That's the aspect of express emotion. Shows them. Look at his. Okay, we gotta stop. So his body, just like the cross or the Christ and stuff, right? And essentially, remember the five-pointed star, the five arm, leg, arm, head is essentially um, Allah, right? Or okay, let's get to it. Hold on, let me see. Y'all know inverted five pointed star. Okay. Now this is for the occultists. This is for the spiritualists. So I'm sorry, all of y'all Stranger Things fandom people, for me breaking or busting your bubble with this deeper knowledge of what's actually going on. Because at the same time, at the end of the day, this is it. So you can see Samuel and Lilith, right? We talked about it, right? Lilith is the first Sephra in the tree of death or the tree of knowledge. You feel me? Now remember, Baphomet is a spiritual symbol for you to actually do your spiritual work, right? You falling into the human is actually the aspects of uh, you. Hold on, let's think. Okay, let's get it back. So you falling into the human is actually this, right? Five-pointed star, arm, leg, arm, head. But when you do your spiritual work, as you can see, the house is right side up. This house is upside down if you look inside the middle of the star, right? So that means you're working in the wrong way if you're thinking this is just about being human. You got to be, if you're going to get the complete holistic understanding of your spiritual walk, you're going to have to put your house right side up, which is this Baphomet, which is this inverted five-pointed star, which is Baphomet is just a spiritual symbol for your understanding of self. You feel me? Understanding of self from a cosmic level. You feel me? So that's important to understand. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. And I'm gonna do a whole breakdown on all these Stranger Things whenever they come out, because I think it's important to keep it going, right? Demigorgon or the demons, the demigods, if you will. There go Vecna. Now remember, Vecna is that dude that was 001 in Stranger Things, right? And 001 and X, essentially L, which is is 11, right? L is God, EL is God. 11 is also transformation or illumination, right? 11 through uh, that Henry dude, which became Vecna, into the upside down, right? And he was 001, or the first spark of creation, the first spark of mind, right? But that first spark of mind is basically the ego. Let's get it right.
Message.
So remember, when you first come down here to Earth, you have a primal ego, right? Which is you, the one, Neo, the one, which is still egoic because you can't be down here without an ego. You feel me? So now, when you stub your toe, when you fall, when you trip, when you get embarrassed, all of that stuff, that's when these suppressed emotions come into the fold. You feel me? Of you being the one, Neo, right? So you got a primal ego. You want to eat. You're not understanding. You got to be able to control yourself. You have to have disciplines about yourself, right? Self-unfoldment by disciplines of realization. We're reading it in the Patreon. And you got to fall into the space of, you know what I'm saying, understanding that that's part of the human, the one, you feel me, which is man, which is masculine energy, which is ego, right? So now that's what Vecna is essentially showing you, aspects of yourself as 001, and the hidden energies that you repress or suppress based off of you not dealing with your emotions, which is your chakra system, which is will be in there for 6 days. On the 7th day, he rested, or he was completed. I'm just telling you what it is. I'm going pretty fast, but this is what it is. Look, energy never dies. It hides in your body until you deal with it. Until you face these energies, then essentially you're just going to keep on having these small, subtle feelings that keeps you from illumination. The pain you're ignoring becomes your portal of who you are. So you're constantly walking through this life, a shell of yourself, feeling, these particular pains. And rising in power to the God, I'm just telling you what it is. November 6th, Neelan transitions this self-afflicted himself, suicide, right? And essentially, right, you know what I'm saying, he had to deal with some suppressed emotions that was holding him back. November 6th was the first day Will went into the upside down, right, as a child, dealing with suppressed emotions, you feel me? Being raised by a single mother, right? All of those different aspects, right? Then you see the mother and father dynamic coming to the fold when they go and rescue Will, essentially, is what's going to happen. And essentially, that's where this thing lies. You feel me? That's where this thing lies. Okay, let's keep it rolling. I gotta get off of here because I gotta take my kids to school. Okay, let's get it on. Where was I at? Long as we can begin. So essentially that is energy feeding Will, right? In the aspect of, how would you say, astral light, right? So now remember in the Psychastria book that we read, that you can have this astral light that feeds you in the form of your umbilical cord. You feel me? So now that astral light is essentially information. So Will is getting impregnated essentially with information about his dark side or the darker aspects of himself that that he has to transform into light, right? And this is a very good show because the metaphysical breakdown. Remember when I told y'all about Lucas, and him kissing the girl at the end of season 4? That Lucas is Luke Skywalker. Lucas is also means light, right? And he kissing the pineal gland of the girl to wake up in this thing. So all of these kids are interconnected in a Stranger Things way. God damn. Hey, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have real patience to break this thing down because I could do it. It's just gonna be a lot of you're gonna have to watch it and really be thorough in the aspect of understanding everybody's name is connected. Like I told y'all, L is 11, right? L is God. Vecna 001. It's the same, right? 001 and 011, right? It's as above, so below, as within, so without. You feel me? And they're just a mirror of each other. I'm actually going to do a breakdown on that because I think that's important to understand those aspects, especially with 1111 coming up. And all these people's names. Will is the willpower that you have, the drive, the motivation for you to win and get out of the hurt, the pain, the suppressed traumas that you went through as a child. You feel me? So all of this stuff is metaphysical breakdowns of you turning into something strange. Doctor Strange. All right, let's keep it rolling. You and I, we are going to do something. Okay, so boom, he's touching on top of his head. He said, we're going to do some beautiful, beautiful things together. So that's him just essentially, and this is Will as a kid, right? And he's essentially saying, I'm going to take you on a story or adventure. And that's what's going to lead up to season 5 that we're about to get into this November. What day does it come out? November 26th. November 26th is when it comes out, right? Yeah, good. Beautiful things together, William. Such beautiful things. You can even see his eyes looking up to what? His pineal gland. I can't make it up. That's how you tap into your pineal. So if I don't know, close your eyes, look up to your forehead, and you can stimulate your pineal gland, which is the 6 days he's been in, right? And 6 equals sex, or 6 equals masculine and feminine energies, which is your pineal gland, right? Which is you basically understanding yourself from another level than the human, than your lower self. So then, also 6 is what we've been talking about with this, with the 6-pointed star, or Merkaba, or your vehicle, to your soul vehicle, which is a 5th dimensional light vehicle in a 6-pointed star. You feel me? So now all of a sudden you can see past the veil with these 2 eyes, and you're using this first eye, which is your pineal gland. So now when you do see things for what it is, remember Will in the seasons, he used to he was real quiet and observant in season when he was back on in the physical realm or whatever, right? And essentially he just observing, and you could tell he was an androgynous being. So now he's just observing the world for what it is, like almost like, oh shit, oh, like he's already awakened. You feel me? So this season is going to be season 5 episode. or season 5, first 5 minutes. First 5 minutes. So, you know, it's this is gonna be one of those, family. I can't make it up. And I just want to encourage the family to understand that I'm gonna break it down. And then look, we can't even, I'm telling you, we're living a spiritual simulation. I couldn't make it up if I wanted to. Will, right? Will, the dude Will from Stranger Things, right? Boom. So Will, and then this Will, right? Will Smith. Will is away. Don't look at the characters, look at the energy. 6 World Series in a row, right? We talked about Will as being Kether, or your crown or your kingdom, the first of the 10 Sephiras in the Kabbalistic tree of life, symbolizing the divine will and initial impulse towards creation, which is 0 and 1, right? And Vecna is what? 0 and 1. So I'm excited about this season 5. I'm very excited about this season 5, man. I think it's going to help us transform into a new, based off of us understanding who we are divinely, who we are holistically, and not falling into the space of thinking we're a human, but staying and understanding that we're a God. Y'all know what it is, family. Peace to the gods.